Yeah, fam, it's time. We've got to go out there and make the video dedicated to Quinn Hughes. This dude is absolutely phenomenal, and I know we've been kind of milking it a little bit the past little while. Oh, we're making videos about Pedersen and the points he's getting, and Kuzmenko and the points he's getting, and now we're talking about Quinn Hughes and the points he's getting, but like, come on. You can't tell me this isn't important. You can't tell me this is not worth talking about. We've got segments on Sportsnet 650 where they're talking about Quinn Hughes as a potential Norris candidate, not in the future, not when he's in his prime, but today. It was Jamie Dodd, I believe, who brought it up on the show, and I was kind of already thinking to myself, yeah, we're going to make a video about Quinn Hughes. Like last night, after I got home from the library where I was uploading the video that I recorded on my phone, that little vlog talking about St. Louis, Vancouver, after I got home, I was like, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? You know, we have to make a video about Quinn. We cannot not talk about Quinn anymore, dude. Like, this dude has been phenomenal, and as a result, I wanted to go out there, give him his dues, and talk about all the numbers behind his season, because this year, Quinn Hughes, as a 23-year-old defenseman, 5'10", 181, left-handed shot, he's got 72 points in 70 games played, 7 goals, 65 assists. That 7 goals is actually kind of boosted from yesterday because he got 2 goals yesterday. Again, when was the last time Quinn Hughes had a multi-goal game? Is that the first time it's ever happened? Please, somebody in the comments, let me know if that's Quinn Hughes' first ever multi-goal game on the Vancouver Canucks. But this season, his playmaking has been so good, so pristine, so crisp, that it's almost like he has taken a complete step up from what he had accomplished last year. In fact, screw last year. Let's talk about 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago, Quinn Hughes had 41 points in 56 games played, but he was a minus 24. The Canucks in the 2020-2021 bubble season, or not the bubble season, the Canadian division season, excuse me. In that time frame, a lot of Vancouver Canucks were bad. JT Miller was not a point-per-game player. Brock Besser, I believe, was the leading scorer. And just overall, the mojo on this squad was really down in the dumps. It wasn't good. A lot of people were calling out Quinn Hughes for his defensive game, his defensive lapses. Sure, he would produce the points, but this really wasn't the year that you wanted to see out of a guy that was supposed to be improving in all areas of his game. Fast forward to last year, and he actually does improve his defensive game quite a bit. He's a plus 10 on the season rather than the minus 4, and I know plus minus isn't the greatest stat to indicate how well a player plays in his own zone, but last season there was sort of that resurgence for Quinn. He had gotten the points back up there to 68 points in 76 games played. He had set the franchise record amongst all Canucks defensemen in the past in points in a season. 68 points, 76 games played. Fantastic work out of Quinn Hughes at 22 years old as well. This season, though, Quinn has busted right through that. Over a point per game, as we said. On pace for 80 points in 78 games played, and he is a plus 18. Again, plus minus isn't the greatest indicative stat for talent, but Quinn has looked so good this season in his own zone, in the offensive zone, just in the way he's able to break up plays, how he's reading things in his own zone, and he's doing all this playing, 27, 28, 29 minutes a night sometimes? Sure, ever since Filip Hronek found himself on at the Vancouver Canucks, Quinn's ice time has been reduced, thank goodness. But for a guy who has been given such an extended workload to still be able to produce, play, and compete at the level that he has been accomplishing, that in and of itself is phenomenal. And there's a tweet made by Cam Robinson going out there that I wanted to read for you here. Quinn Hughes has 72 points in 70 games. It's 72 now. The tweet was made before he got the second point. If it weren't for Erik Karlsson, Quinn would be leading all defenders in most categories while greatly improving his actual defense. The rest of the league should probably take notice. There's a reply here from Ron. He's kind of like the reigning Norris Trophy and Conn Smythe winner, managing just 66 points in 58 games so far, and falling under the radar as usual, as a few missed games because of injuries. Robinson replies, yes. And this is kind of the thing too. It's been a weird sort of perspective that I've seen bring itself up over the past few weeks, especially on hockey Twitter amongst fans that are not Canucks fans, but there seems to still be this reputation amongst other fans that Quinn Hughes is not a great defensive defenseman. Oh, he's all offense, no defense. He can't play defense. He's not good in his own zone, whatever. And sure, if you had said that 2 seasons ago, 2020, 2021, again, the Canadian division, then fine. Fair complaint. Everybody on that team was bad, and Quinn was not great in pulling his own weight in his own zone. But he's been so much better this season when it comes to just making the right decisions, clogging up plays on the boards, chipping the puck out, finding those passing lanes to break it out, and just being a great facilitator of play from his own zone up into the neutral zone. He has been so good at defending that it's kind of crazy to me that these ideas are still floating out there that, oh, Quinn Hughes is all offense, no defense, he can't defend for crap. Like, nah, that's not the case anymore, man. He's really improved. And now, when you think about it, with Elias Pettersson being on pace for over 100 points, knock on wood again, we gotta do the knock on wood. I just don't want to take any risks here, folks. But with Elias Pettersson being on pace for over 100 points, you've got Quinn Hughes, almost a point per game, he is a point per game, almost an 82-point defenseman. He's on pace for 80 points. With these two guys at the helm, plus the fact that you've got Kuzmenko with 37 freaking goals on the year, it's really easy to understand now why the Vancouver Canucks and Patrick Allvin and Rutherford are going through this phase where it's like, yeah, no, we don't want to rebuild. Like, look, we have the pieces right here. We'll free up cap space some other way, but we do have our core players that we want to build around and win a cup around in the future. Sure, if you wanted to trade away the Bessers and the Garlands and everybody, it might set you back a few years, but the long-term plan was to remain competitive with these guys. And it appears that their plan of remaining competitive is not going to start in 2026 or whatever. They wanted it to come as soon as possible. And again, I'm not going to say that that philosophy is correct. Like, oh, that's how it should be. They should be trying to make the playoffs now and not care about Bedard and do all this stuff. But like, I'm just saying I can understand their point of view. With the talent level that they have on their team right now, it's understandable why they didn't want to tank, why they didn't want to go out there and keep the first-round pick they got from the Islanders to draft a guy, instead using it to trade for Filip Hronek. If you were to ask me personally what I would have done, then hey, I probably would have tried to sell off a little bit harder, maybe try to make the team worse in the short term to get those Bedardards up and running, and hopefully try to squeak out of the 2023 draft with a guy that could step in next year. If you're really bad and you get Fantilli or Bedard, hey, either of these guys are NHL caliber players next year, so if you fail and you drop so far in the draft lottery, then hey, you're helping your team out next year. Even if it doesn't work out, you have yourselves 2 first-round picks, one of whom is going to be in the top, let's say, 10. The other may be a little bit lower because the Islanders have started winning games as of late, which is pretty interesting. But you still had prospects available at your disposal. And I know Patrick Allvin said the entire thing, oh, we're gonna get draft picks, not to get draft picks, but we want to get draft picks to either get players or trade them away for other players we could use. And like, that's so contradictory because it's like, yeah, you could only use draft picks for those 2 things. But either way, when it comes to what the Vancouver Canucks have on their roster today, with the JT Millers of the world going out there and improving his point production, he's now back to over a point per game, with Elias Pettersson being as good as he is, with Kuzmenko being as good as he is, with Hughes being as good as he is, even without Bo Horvat, this is a team that is talented enough to win games, and unfortunately, all of those wins are coming towards the end of the year. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it would have been a little bit stranger if everything had been flipped, if the Canucks were winning a whole bunch of games at the start of the year and then started choking the multi-goal leads towards the end. Maybe things would have been different. Maybe they would have sold at the deadline. Who really knows? But either way, when it comes to the Canucks and what they have on their team right now, quite literally the best defenseman the team has ever had, period, is on the roster, over a point per game. He is on pace for 80 points, and there's no stopping Quinn Hughes. Really. Like, he is just getting better and better, and with that contract going on till the end of the decade, pretty much, it's looking like a pretty good career Quinn is going to have in Vancouver, you know, of course, assuming he doesn't get traded to New Jersey anytime soon. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Quinn Hughes, how he should be, in my opinion, a Norris consideration guy. If it weren't for Erik Karlsson, there probably would be a lot more hype around this guy because he is 2nd overall in defenseman scoring, that in which we didn't actually mention throughout this entire video, by the way, so yeah, he's there, he's that high up on the list. But thoughts in the comments, either way, your opinions about Quinn Hughes. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 9. and bye.